You think you know who I am just from what I let you see? You think I give a damn who you make me out to be? You say I'm young, too naive. Did you stop to think for yourself? Because I know I'm far from perfect. That's why I think about more than just myself. You accuse me of rebelling. I call it fighting for what's right. Your anger grows as change occurs. But it's because you don't fight the good fight. But I can see the end in sight. A matter of when, not might. It's time to step into his light. So you better get good with acting right. Don't say your age makes you wise. A number knows nothing at all. Excuse me. You'll learn from your mistakes, or you'll never learn at all. Or the harder, you'll too soon fall. Please don't say who's right or wrong. What difference does it make? You have to live by your morals, and consequences are then yours to make. It's from a TV show doing a satellite thing. Yeah, they totally end my. Oh yeah, my teeth. They fuck with me. Excuse my language. Don't tell me I'm not trying, because things are rarely as they seem. By discouraging my efforts, you're saying give up all your dreams. Don't look so shocked. Don't sound so hurt. It's just my point of view. Just think about the things I said, because I learned them all from you. If you believe and I believe, that makes two of us. Ask God if he does too. And happily ever after really could come true. We reached the end of the very good book, although the good book it will always be. But it's up to us to cause for there to become a number 2. We can weave it or stitch it however we'd like. So let's make some dreams come true. Let's learn to ride this bike. I'm just joking. I don't know how the end of it goes. I'll teach you to ride this bike. Alright. But you're wasting it. You're wasting it. It's a crying shame. Can't go back from whence you came. Can do it all again. It's a crying shame. Why? Why? Because you smoke and it shouldn't be that way. Why should you? I'm like, it wasn't that way until you did it. Until you did that to me, so I thought the way that God made it will be the way that it should be. Maybe there's a reason why certain people get it. There is reasons why certain people get out of jail free cards, and it's not for you to know. It's not for me to know. It's just what happens. It's between me and God. God, you know what? I know God knows, or sometimes I don't even know. Sometimes just God knows. And when you get offered allowances, I'm like, that's not fair, but it's fine, probably, for reasons that I don't know about. I mean, like when somebody cuts you off when you're speeding in your freeway to work, and you're like, oh, this mother, what's he? Maybe he's running late. Maybe he needs to hurry up and get to work on time so he's not fired. You know, I'm not really in that much of a hurry as it turns out. Like, go ahead, brother. Act like it's you. Remember that a year ago, all the way to the beginning? It was the whole do not harm yourselves or others. It was the show love, which is patience, patience, which is love. And please don't have attitudes or assumptions based on appearances. Don't have based on appearances assumptions and then have attitude. Don't have attitude because of appearances and then assumptions you made. I don't know. It doesn't matter what order you put it in, really, but excuse me. But that's what it was. It was like when you encounter another human being or have a choice or fork in your road ever, you're supposed to simply stop, do people swap in your mind. Like if I was them and they were me. If I was doing this to them, or if they were doing this to me, would I like for them to do this to me? Would I want for them to continue doing it to me? Would I be happy with the outcome? And then swap back and decide how once you realize how you would feel if it was you that it was happening to, rather than vice versa. Then you choose. That's how you with intention lean towards what's good. That's how you make a choice to do nice to be nice or whatever. You stop. You're like, how am I going to affect the other people involved around me, or especially those other people not involved? Because those are the. And just like the whole how taking action is just as much of a choice as taking no action, or taking no action is just as much. Doing nothing is just as much of an action sometimes as doing something. Because in your lack of doing something, it causes an outcome, or it puts you on you're taking a side, a stand, you're showing where you're at on the issue, or however you say, depending on the way you look at things. So the way you intentionally take a stand on how you be, who you be, is with your intention, and your intention can be, that's just that moment you stop and go, wait a minute, other than just me, let me with discernment try to figure out let me see all the different angles of all the different ways that this could affect any of the people, or not people, especially two. And then there was one more that I was gonna say, and I'm trying to remember because it just slipped my mind. That's what always happens to me. No, it wasn't the pie thing. Oh yes, for building each other up. That's a good one too. Make sure the things we do with intention, just discernment, to see from all angles, to try to see as only God truly can. That's a big thing. Just to be more self-conscious, to be less selfish. Oh, that's what it was. It is a selfish world. And like when the airplane's going down, you put your own mask on, and then you put your kid's mask on. You put your own mask on so that you can help the people around you. Take care of yourself, because if you're not okay, then who is? Because what is there? If you're not, then what is there? Right? But then at the same time, we need to be like so much less selfish as people, and we need to like love our neighbors as we love ourselves. But then we don't even love ourselves. So it's like, where do we? How far back do we have to take this, right? And then of course I lost it again, because that's what always happens to me. That's why I need a prompter just to go, what you were gonna say just now was. That's because my brain goes with this super quickness, and then all of a sudden I hit it, and I'll go off track to describe something, and then I'm like, and I can't remember back where I was with it. Gosh, what was it? Let me see. Okay, I remember what it was. The last point that I was trying to make, and it took me like literally 2 minutes to figure out, maybe a minute and a half to figure out, is that the whole being more loving, we are, but you know, like selfish people are selfish, and we worry about ourselves, and we don't really think about others, and or at the same time, it's easier for us to look at other people and solve their problems. Like, I can tell you what's wrong with you. Let me tell you a thing or two about you that you may not know about yourself, right? But then what am I doing about me, right? And so there's all these different kinds of ways to look at it. Yeah, you do want to take into consideration what the other people are doing and how they're doing it, but at the end of the day, we are in charge of ourselves, and we're responsible for ourselves. We're accountable to God, but it's our account. It's our account for the ways that we've walked and the choices that we made, and it's between us and God. It's nobody else is there. I mean, there's the anointed. There's the people that are like you and me, the souls that have lived and died, who are there on our behalf to be like, let me tell you actually why that's not quite so bad. Let me fight on her behalf a little bit, you know, or whatever. But ultimately, we have to stand. We each will take a turn to stand before Jehovah God. He sees everything, and we'll each be repaid according to that which we've earned. And it also will be the ones who have to stand accountable. And so, at the end of the day, we can't really change other people directly. You can't force anybody else to become something that they're not, to do something that they don't want to do. You just can't. But you can force yourself, and you can, with intention, you know what I do when I see people like being a certain kind of way, where I'm like, ooh, I do not like that, right? Or like, oh my god, what a bitch, or whatever. That was a nice face I made, right? I literally, like, I made a practice, I made an intention. That was one of the very first things I did when I started learning about just like living in a more godly way. Was just, sorry, I keep wanting to cry. Was just to whenever I had a moment where I had a choice to make, or when somebody was affecting me, especially when I noticed somebody else was having something wrong with them, because that was the thing that was easy to point out. Look what attitude she's having. Look, she's not being nice to her kid at all. Well, she's not even compromising. You know what I mean? Why is she being so bossy? Then instantly, but I can't change those people. So what I can do is I can stop and be like, hold on. If it was me, if I were them and they were me, do I do that? Oh my god, do I do that too? Am I short like that with my kids sometimes? Or, you know, am I bitchy like that? Do I rush sometimes? Do I cut the people off or whatever? And whatever, I mean, no matter what it was, whatever the action that I saw that I was like gonna be judgmental for a second, I like stopped my judgmental in its tracks, because who am I to have judgment about? I don't know what they're going through. I don't know where they're at with their life. That's between them and God, you know. That's why we just show love to one another. But I could immediately stop and go like, oh my god, do I do that? Because that's the thing that I do not like. That interaction, I do not want to have that interaction with people. So I don't want people to feel that way about me. So then I would just be like, so constantly, all the day, all the time, do I do that? Do I do that? And then in doing so, you change yourself. But then as you change the way that you be, the person that you are, the way that you then interact with and affect the people around you, I got really ugly for a second. Sorry. But it when all of a sudden you're being a lot less bitchy, and you're being a lot more polite, and you're being a lot more patient, and you're being a lot less, you know, whatever it is, interrupting this, be modeling my big thing. But when you then yourself and nobody but you becomes with intention a better person because you made a point to do so, God shines His love on you. He puts His Holy Spirit blessing on you. That's part of it. Number one, you don't even expect. You're like, oh my God, it's better than I knew. There's that mind blowing part of it. but just the way that we then begin to be more conscious of other people, the way that we begin to be a better person ourselves, and the way that it does positively affect the people around us, and it sets a good example. Because I tell my kids, like, okay, there's the whole injury for injury thing. We put that away a long time ago with the Ten Commandments, and because God is love, and the whole point about it is, if somebody's acting in a way that's not proper, maybe it's because they need somebody to role model for them what's the proper way to be. Maybe they don't have that role model for them in any circumstance or previously or whatever. Like I said, we don't know what they're going through. So just show a lot less. Show a lot. We should have a lot more concern about our own actions and our own deeds before we even really do have concern about other people's actions and deeds in a judgmental way, in a trying to change it way. We only should try to work on changing ourselves, and then we should work on showing love towards and being patient towards and help and being more helpful. If somebody's got something going on with them, instead of being like, their room is so messy all the time, you know what I'm gonna do when they leave or later? I'm gonna go in there and I'm gonna throw the laundry everywhere. I'm gonna maybe put some crumbles in there. So that's what they get for having the room be so messy, because that's how people be, right? How about this time when they leave, we go in there and we just hang up the clothes that we see they need hung up, and then we vacuum as quick as we can, and then when they get home, when they have, ask them for a quiet moment, and then when they have a quiet moment, be like, hey, I noticed your plate's really full, and I noticed some things different about you. Like, is there anything I can do to help you? Is there anything that you got going on? Like I said, bring over a cake. If you're concerned about who I am and how I'm being, then come spend some time with me. That's what we can do. So that's when I'm feeling down and out, when I feel like, oh man, my whole world's just ending. There's nothing better than figuring out something you can do for somebody. Just come up with it. It could be something so simple. Go in and check in the mail for the person who has a hard time getting to it, or you know what I mean, or bringing flowers to somebody, or going and helping them with something, or taking them. It doesn't even matter what you do. Just anything you do. When all of a sudden you feel like you have nothing, but then you were able to bring joy. You were able to bring that look of like you personally made their life better. Makes you feel more valuable yourself. And this world makes us feel like we're worth less because of the way that we are in fact worth more. I just go on and on and on sometimes. Let me tell you all the ways I feel about everything I ever thought about. Teardrops. I'm probably gonna edit that with a really weird face. Thank you.